Hey everyone, welcome to a new episode of Crypto Tips. We have a very special guest today, James Corbett. Thank you so much for taking your time to be on the show. What you do, in my opinion, is so valuable. The quality of the information that you share and the importance of it is something that I think everyone should have exposure to. So I'm really happy to share you on our platform and get your insights on some important developments that are happening around the world, and especially with cryptocurrencies, of course. So thank you so much for taking your time to be here today.
No problem. Thank you for having me on.
Let's talk about the development of, cryptocurrencies is like, a freedom tool, and then government gets their hands on it. And now they're talking about CBDCs. So I'd love to hear your take on how you think they're going to be implemented. And also if there's any chance of avoiding them for those who want to do that. What are your thoughts?
All right. I guess we should have this conversation wrapped up in a minute or two. No problem.
Yeah. 5 minutes.
Yeah. All right. No, you ask an important question, and you ask it in the right way, because how will they implement these, I think, is the operative question. Will some form of central bank digital currency be implemented? Well, in some parts of the world, it already is operational. And in pretty much every other part of the world, including the US, including Canada, including Japan, including Australia, they are already piloting programs, testing out the technologies, figuring out how they want to do this. Now, it is important to note there are many, many different ways that this can be done. But I think the underlying principle is that this is programmable money. That is what people need to understand. And what does that mean, programmable money? Basically, any stipulation, anything that you want to put on top of this money, you could design it in. It doesn't even have to be designed in on a structural level at the base layer of the programming. It could be something that they add later. But at any rate, whatever you can think of, they can do. So, for example, if they come up with a social credit score or a carbon credit allowance or whatever, they can implement that in a way that, so for example, you go to the store, you're trying to buy your hamburger. No, you've had your meat allowance for this week. You must eat the plant-based protein. Whatever the case may be. So that's sort of the nightmare scenario where we have a retail currency being issued by the central bank. And imagine if, for example, we get our wallet directly from the central bank. The central bank, in that case, literally looks at and approves or disapproves every single transaction happening in the economy as it happens. That is the key for nightmare totalitarianism. That's it. Once you have that power, you have complete control over who buys and sells in the economy. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's the way it's going to be implemented in every country. But the ultimate nightmare scenario, I think, is that idea of a programmable money that, as it starts to displace and perhaps replace any other form of money, the less avenue we have for any other form of interaction, at least legally in the above board legal economy, the more that we are going to be at the whim and mercy of central bankers who will literally be able to determine who buys and sells when and where. That's the nightmare we have to avoid. So I think, how do we avoid that? There's a lot of different ideas that we can talk about, but essentially I just want to make sure that everybody is at least on board with being aware that this problem exists. And it isn't some theoretical thing far off in the future. They are actively working on this right now.